Hello and welcome to the movie podcast review of the Banshees of Inisherin. We are at TIFF and it is going crazy. We've been going to watch all these movies, kicking it with all these crazy reviews, and on top of that, we've been having a lot of different things happen on our show that we're going to be getting into. But before I jump into that, I am joined by my other Banshees, or my fellow Irishmen. Would it be safe to call you that, guys?
Well,
you could call me a banshee.
you could call us we're not Irish.
Irish.
You could call us the Banshees of Toronto.
You could call me a horse or a pony.
Why a pony? You went horse and then you maybe went pony right after.
Well,
Do you have something against ponies, Shay?
No, there's
I
horses
just don't
and
think
ponies
they're as strong
in this
as
movie.
horses.
Well,
They don't say, yeah, this car has 12 pony power. They say this car has 12 horsepower.
Yeah, but why is it about power for you? What if you just want a nice friend? I'm not judging you. I'm not saying that my car goes 120 Shahbazes. I just want you as my friend, dude.
Dude, I need to change. If I was the prime minister or president, I'm changing the kilometers to Shahbazes. I'm going
How many
100 Shahbazes.
Do you think he's in charge of that?
Yeah,
He has to
this is the
switch.
prime minister.
I will make that law.
Yes, today we've discovered also that Anthony, the laws and rules that Anthony would change would end us in a global financial disaster of an economy.
The Canadian economy as we know it will
He'd
be
set us back
done.
to 1926 when this movie
Guys,
was
I have 3 Shahbazes, a Daniel, and an Anthony.
Yeah,
What can I buy
we're
with
back to
this?
bartering with people's lives.
Yeah.
So breaking news: the prime minister of Canada has changed the kilometers to Shahbazes. Stocks have fallen 100,000%.
Stocks of what though?
What are stocks of Canada?
Wait, have we invested?
Wait, Canada's a public stock? We're publicly traded stock?
the NASDAQ, whatever the fuck it is.
God, this is unhinged.
Clearly, we have no idea how the government or the world runs.
Shay, I don't know how my life runs.
But you know something that I do know? That the movie podcast drops a brand new episode every single Monday, and watch out throughout the week for some new episodes that are about reviews, some are about interviews, and some are just about life. No, we don't really do any life episodes, but you can follow us at The Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. And don't forget, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and join our Discord. We're having a great time talking in there. We're having questions of the week. We're talking about Rings of Power. We're talking about House of Dragons. Talking about She-Hulk. Anything else coming out that we should be talking about on that channel?
You know, Shay, I think something that we could drop in that channel is some cool interviews and some cool experiences.
Did we do any cool interviews and experiences recently?
Shay, I don't like to brag, but I'm
Also,
kidding.
I don't like how you start my name.
You know,
Shay.
I don't like to brag, but I do like to brag because I want to, I'm going to kick it to you to talk about the interview stuff.
Let me talk about the interviews first.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let me tell
Fine.
everybody who we've had on the show. And it's big. It's pretty big. We had the cast and director of Raymond and Ray, the Apple TV Plus original film. If you're wondering who's in that film, first of all, watch the film. It's fantastic. We have a review up for that as well. But in that film, we have Ethan Hawke, Ewan McGregor, Sophie Okonedo, and Maribel Verdú. And it's directed by Rodrigo Garcia. And we had the chance to speak to them in person. What an absolutely unreal experience that was. And you can look out on our feed for that those interviews to drop. But you can check out our review in the meantime.
Yeah, please go check out our review of Raymond and Ray. It's a great film. It premiered at TIFF. And, Shay, you had the wonderful opportunity to talk to the actors, especially, not to specifically single anyone out, but Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor, who are huge fans of. I was lucky to talk to Rodrigo Garcia, who is just such a passionate person, and I think that's going to shine through in our discussion with them. So very excited to share that one.
Very, very excited. But Daniel, I feel like you were alluding to some news as well.
Daniel, I don't like to brag, but again, well, I did the skit already. Here's the thing.
You were in the
I
sketch.
already did this one. We had the wonderful opportunity to be special guests on ET Canada After, which is a live show all about the Lord of the Rings of Power, which is a show that I think you may be familiar with if you're a fan of the movie podcast.
Apparently we're shrills. We're shilling.
We're shrilling for the shills. You know?
We're shilling for the show.
Listen,
give me that Bezos money.
When you are, is Bezos paying us, by the way?
No. I haven't said that yet.
What do you mean? We're flying in our big giant jet planes,
guys.
Apparently,
who just scratched my Maserati outside? What's going on?
So okay, we'll prime you a new one tomorrow.
I don't even want one.
No, but listen, we had the wonderful opportunity to be guests on the Rings of Power after show on ET Canada, which was just such an incredible experience. And we got to do it, with our friend Morgan Hoffman, who was the host, and Fred, who is just fearless Fred, I should say.
He seemed very. First of all, he's an awesome guy.
He is
super fearless.
He's a super wonderful guy.
He said he had no fears. I was like, what about spiders? No, he's not scared. No,
this guy deep dives into the Lord of
He is the Tolkien encyclopedia,
and he doesn't make you feel like shit. Like, oh, you don't know this?
Yeah,
You're not a Lord of the Rings fan.
He never big timed us.
No, he never big timed, and he was like so excited to hear our theories, even though we weren't heavy in the books, and we really enjoyed the films, and maybe we knew a little bit about here and there about the Silmarillion and the Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
Yeah.
Silmarillion.
Sorry, yeah. I have the vocabulary.
No, it's okay. But
it felt good to be part of something where someone who knew a lot was also excited to hear what we had to say and not have to like bring us down or make us feel like we weren't shouldn't be there.
Right. And that's the thing. The most exciting thing about that was that whenever we had a theory and we were able to blow, his mind a little bit or Morgan's mind, we were like, yes.
We got a lot of fun.
We got him live. Yeah, we had a great time. So please, in our show notes, we'll have the link to that. Go check it out. We had a wonderful time and we really hope we get to do it again. But yeah, lots of TIFF reviews out, lots of interviews coming your way. It's a wonderful time here on the Movie Podcast. And guess what else? Brendan Fraser is going to be on the show as well too. So it's never ending. It's never ending.
No big deal.
Dude, I heard this. I wasn't part of this interview, but I heard this interview and I've never heard anyone so passionate about what they were making. And it's so interesting to see Brendan Fraser in this light because we haven't heard from him for so long. And just to hear him talk about this film, I think our audience is just going to be like, wow, this guy's like, he's so passionate for The Whale and for the character performance and for everything that's happened for him in this film.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And speaking of the show notes, that has all this information in there along with our YouTube channel information. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. You can't see us waving because there is no video attached to this one. But hello at TheMoviePodcast.ca. Just one hello. Write into us. Or write to us, sorry, don't write into us. Write to us, let us know what you thought about TIFF or how the TIFF experience went for you if you went to TIFF, or how just life is going for you. Sometimes we just want to hear you talk. If you want to berate us on there too, go ahead. We're not going to be too upset. We kind of laugh at those things as well.
We do. We definitely do. We have to.
But the movie that we're talking about today is The Banshees of Inisherin. This is directed by Martin McDonagh, who you'll remember from 3 Billboards of Ebbing...
Outside of
Ebbing, Missouri?
Yep.
My God, that's such a tongue twister.
As is the name of this movie.
I've always just called it 3 Billboards and left it at that. Yeah. Starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson and Barry Keoghan and Kerry Condon.
We almost, for a while, I almost kept calling this movie The Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
You were. Yeah. And I was like, well, when does he come out? Because I can't wait. But let's go over to Daniel. Daniel, tell us, what is The Banshees of Inisherin all about?
Should I do it in an Irish accent?
I would love for you to try.
And an Irish jig.
And an Irish jig as well?
Do it like a hoedown from the...
a hoedown?
A hoedown, sorry.
An Irish drinking song?
That's my apologies.
I won't, set off to Ireland. No, I'm not going to do it. Set on a remote island off the west coast of Ireland, the Banshees of Inisherin follows lifelong friends who find themselves at an impasse when one of them unexpectedly puts an end to their friendship. And that friend is Brendan Gleeson. Who doesn't want to be friends with Colin Farrell?
I would want to be friends with Colin Farrell.
Sorry, you said you wouldn't?
I would want to.
Of course. Why would you want to stop that friendship?
100%. He's such a fun guy.
That was feck. That's how they say the F word in Ireland.
Feck. Yeah, really threw me off whenever you would say that.
Why do they say that? Feck.
But, Anthony, give us your first reactions to The Banshees of Inisherin.
watching the trailer, I was super excited to kind of see this film because this is from a director that I really have. I've watched his previous films and I've really enjoyed it. The last film being 3 Billboards and actually being at the TIFF premiere for it and really laughing and crying and going through an emotional roller coaster that movie, it brings out of you. And even, 7 Psychopaths, that was such a funny film. So I was like, okay, this has got to be good. You got a character who doesn't want this guy to be his friend anymore, and if he keeps stalking him, he's gonna chop off his fingers. It's such a interesting, funny story. Like I'm down to see if he actually goes through with it. And it really takes a long time to understand the reasoning behind why he's doing this to this poor dude, to Colin Farrell. But even the reasoning is not strong enough for it to be an actual reasoning. Like, that's the reason you're gonna do this to yourself. But there's a lot to the story that talks about being an artist and a musician and sacrifice. Felt almost like he was Beethoven or Van Gogh. Like, I'm going to do this so I can be remembered.
Definitely,
in a sense.
definitely.
And
not.
it does take a place on a remote island where not a lot of stuff is happening, and these characters subconsciously or subliminally they shouldn't even be there anymore. Like, it's an island that is not elevated past what's happening around them. There's a war happening. I guess there's a civil war at that time. This is 1929 or
1923.
There's a lot of wars, I guess, happening in that time period, civil wars, and they feel like being on this island is the safest thing for them. But there's not a lot of exciting things happening, and at times this movie has funny moments, but it's not exciting like the other previous films that Martin has made. And I think it's because it's a cultural difference. Maybe I'm not Irish enough, or
are you Irish at all, by the way?
Yeah, I was gonna,
I'm saying? Like,
I'm having a revelation here.
I was trying to really get into this story, and
I get it for sure.
I feel so not interested in what's happening here. Why am I not interested? Why am I only laughing a couple of times? And it is a story that's very unique to the people that it surrounds. And I think that's where maybe I felt the disconnect, but I think a lot of the audience members were really invested in this film. I also was being crushed by the seats of the Princess Wales Theater, where I felt more pain than laughter. I at times I don't know if any of you have gone to the Princess of Wales Theater. If you ever go to the balcony, it is not designed for people. It is not designed for anyone.
Designed for
living
mortal men.
In 2022, I don't know how people can enjoy a film and sit in those seats, because all my attention was my legs are cramping and I can't really focus on this film. I really want to. I also wish there were subtitles at points, because it is a very unique dialect that's happening in front of us, and I found it hard to focus on that, as well as the pain that I was going through with my legs. And I think we were all feeling it. And it took me away from the movie too. So I think when this movie does come out again, I will watch it again.
I think that's very fair. That's a very fair thing to say.
For sure. Daniel, what about yourself?
No, just to quickly talk about the Princess of Wales Theater, it was a very uncomfortable watch. I was very straight backed, legs cramped, not a lot of movement. And again, you're probably wondering, well, that shouldn't affect, what was the movie like? And I get it, but when you're in a very uncomfortable position watching a movie, it doesn't matter if you're watching, The Godfather, you're watching Avengers Endgame, or you're watching the Banshees of Inisherin. You're going to think about how uncomfortable you are watching it, no matter how good or how not memorable it may be. For myself, I really like the Banshees of Inisherin, but it also is a very slow moving film. It's very dark, it's full of spite, and is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Like, when you see this island, it's a fictional island, but when you see the cinematography in this film, it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, this movie is beautiful to look at.
A lot of natural lighting was used for this.
It's absolutely beautiful, and I think Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are so wonderful together, but they're also just so They're such like you hate both of them because for both of the things that they're doing, it's like Brendan Gleeson character just wants to be left alone. He's going a little mad. He is an artist. I think like Anthony said, he wants to suffer for his art and he wants to be remembered. And he feels like Colin Farrell's character is taking him away from the artist, the musician that he can be. And you're also just like, Colin Farrell, then leave this guy alone. But also, if you guys were ever to do that to me, I would threaten to cut off my fingers too. So don't ever do that to me.
Well, don't cut off your fingers. I think.
Okay, then never do it to me then. Agree that you'll never do that to me then. And I won't cut off my fingers. Right now.
Never, not talk to you again?
Yeah. Agree to it right now, and I will never cut off my fingers.
But this is going to be recorded.
I don't like that you guys are hesitating so much to agree to this.
Chop off one finger. I think that
kind of want to see one finger or toe go.
Guys,
that was
you sign it out.
What's his name? The dude.
Brendan Gleeson?
No.
Colin Farrell.
No.
There's like
Barry
two
Keoghan?
people in this movie.
Barry Keown's character. He's like, I would want to see him cut off his finger just to see if he goes through with it.
Yeah.
100%. I get that. Look, here's the thing.
This movie's very spiteful too. So you're gonna go on a ride with this movie.
Definitely, you're gonna go on a ride with this movie. I thought was beautiful. One of my biggest issues with this film is its pacing. It's very slow. It takes a while to kind of get to what it wants to try to tell you.
Yes.
Also, I think it's about an hour and 49 minutes, but it didn't have to be. It could have easily been something that is about hour and a half or maybe hour 20 because there isn't enough of a story here to kind of keep you going. And I wish there was. I really wanted something that, kept me engaged all the way throughout, but it would be funny for a bit and then all of a sudden it would be like slow, sad, and then just a lot of talking. And again, I get it, but it never kept me engaged enough. And I guess if I had subtitles, maybe I would be like, oh, I get what's kind of happening here. But some moments I was like, this is a dark comedy. I totally get it. But what else beyond that?
Yeah.
Is that the intention of the director? Because this island is so, we'll say, boring, that the story is slower in that pace. Because it's there's only like, I want to say 100 people on this.
Oh, way less if you
way less. There's more horses and ponies on there. And I would say I'm going to give out a shout out to the animals. They were very cute in this film.
I hope they're listening.
Yeah. The donkeys, love the dogs. Everyone was great.
I think that's another thing that I really liked about this film is just that the director knew, like, your friends don't have to be people. They could be animals too.
Yep.
And as an animal owner, like, a close friend of mine is my dog.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about it, even though, man's best friend. But, when you're on an island for so long and there's not enough people, your animals become your friends. So you kind of care for what happens to them.
That's true. It's very true. And I think those emotional moments of this movie really hit me. That feeling of what Colin Farrell was going through with losing who was his best friend on this really small island. I felt that because I thought of you guys. I'm like, man, if I really only had you guys, it was pretty much like a deserted island in a way where I only had you guys to talk to. And then one day suddenly you were like, F off. I'd be so hurt, so confused. And I would probably not listen to you guys either. And just constantly
cut off all your fingers.
No, I'm Colin Farrell here.
Guys, can you just say you won't cut off your fingers?
I definitely
or you won't make me cut off my fingers?
I want to move past
you
this
to cut your
statement. I
fingers.
want a finger gone.
God.
The one you like the most as well.
My thumb?
The story
like your
really
thumb the
also
most?
like focuses on loneliness too. I think that's
Yes.
another aspect that I think
It deals with depression. It deals with a lot of those things, right? And again, there's so many great merits in this film. It really has that dark comedy kind of feel to it that Martin McDonagh really, man, he really excels in it. Especially with 3 Billboards, I noticed it a lot as well.
Yeah. But yeah, please, if someone ever invites you to watch a film at the Princess of Wales Theater,
say no.
Just say
or
no.
see where your seats are.
Unless it's the like the floor level seats.
The mezzanine. Don't do dress circle. Don't do the balcony. Just run.
If you're already in the seats, you can't run.
If you're 6'4", you don't even try, man.
Dude, if you're 5 feet, don't.
I
do
was
this
like,
either.
I'm like 5'9", and I was like, or 5'10", and I was like, I'm okay.
But you know what? I was watching people sit, and they're like enjoying it, and like happy. I'm like, wow, how are you enjoying this with the?
And
maybe they don't have like I don't get it. I just
Maybe they don't have bones.
How
Maybe
many
they have
comments
no
do you think we'll
bones.
have about people just saying, "Oh, look at them complaining about their seating"?
A lot, but
Talking about the movie.
a lot.
Yeah, I
but
get it. I
but here's
get
the
that.
thing, we're joking around, but obviously that's a huge impact when you're watching a film. In all seriousness, but if we're just going back to the movie, kind of final thought on it, I thought it was really, really well made, beautiful to look at. And I think Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are so spiteful and hateful to one another, but you get it. And as this movie's going on, you're like, I understand. I'm on board. But it's going to take a little while to get there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a movie that I'll be thinking about too much longer after that it's done. It's good. It's okay. I had fun with it, but it's not one that I think I'm going to be revisiting.
For me, I'm probably going to revisit just because I'm going to pay the respect that it deserves, and really because I did enjoy certain parts of it.
Right.
But I'm in a position where I felt that things were distracting me from it, and I want to really kind of put on those subtitles first of all, because it was I don't understand the dialect at certain points, so I really want to understand what's being said and what's being.
That's
Of course,
easy.
That's totally
and it's,
fair.
and it's not me being not fair. Like, it's just
No, it's not. No, it's you. That's accurate. That's accurate. I want to rewatch this movie, and I will 100%. This is a movie that I will definitely pick up like on iTunes, so I could have the subtitles and I could watch it and I could enjoy it that way too.
Well, that's amazing. Well, again, this was the movie podcast at TIFF. We're pretty much rounding up here with our TIFF reviews.
Yeah, maybe a couple more to come.
Maybe a couple more to come. Who knows? Stay tuned. And guess where you can stay tuned? On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. At The Movie Podcast is where you can see us. Go check us out on YouTube. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And
watch us on ET Canada.
Watch us on ET Canada. Yeah, go check us out there, because that was a lot of fun.
It was. And some great interviews coming this week too, so look out for that.
Great interviews coming this week.
Ooh.
That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.